Welcome to the EMBN show, where we have got a packed little session coming. I'm going to be talking about the Trek Rail Plus Generation 5.
And we've got news from Steve as well. And I guess we'll be talking about the Bosch Performance Line CX new motor.
Yeah, new lightweight bike from Mondraker 2. Let's take a look.
Right, kicking off the show with the new Trek Rail. This is Generation 5. And of course, the news here is that new motor. So the new Bosch Performance Line CX system with 85 Newton meters of torque. So more of a revolution than evolution, I guess, was talking with this motor. 800 watt hour battery. And this is a new one. It's a Bosch power tube with Trek's own updated RIB 2.0. So removable integrated battery. Quarter turn of an 8mm hex key to release it, but it's got an optional extra tension bolt for riders in extra aggressive terrains. Keep that rattle-proof and any chance of it dropping out the bike as well. So that's pretty interesting to have a secure but removable battery when we're looking at a lot of bikes nowadays that don't necessarily have removable batteries in them. I think that's quite a good move for Trek.
Yeah.
160mm front and rear. Sorry, I'm jumping in there, Martyn. Mixed wheel sizes apart from small, which sizes down to 27.5 front and rear, and range extender compatible as well.
Can I do the Geo, Neil? Can I do the Geo?
Hit me, Martyn.
We have got 64.5 degree head angle. Seat tube angle is effectively 77 degrees. And a reach 450mm on the medium. I like to do the reach on a large, really.
Yeah, I like medium because I'm a medium kind of guy.
Yeah,
which is
450 on
relatively, what should we call that? Conservative. A lot of people are going up 20mm bigger than that on a medium.
Yeah, 480 on a large is the norm.
Adjustable geometry on this, so riders can tweak their BB height and head tube angle half a degree. So if you notice, actually, 64.5 is steeper than the last model, which was 64.3. But you can tweak it by, what did I say? Half a degree. So you can go back down to 64.2. Is that half? No, 64.
Yeah, something like that.
My maths is not math in this. But
I don't want to get into the maths question. I'm going to look like an idiot.
I like a rider tunable bike, especially for an e-bike where you might find it where you live. You actually maybe want a slightly higher BB for pedaling through stuff. But I'm a low and slack kind of guy, so I'd like the slackest I can get, please.
Now, the Mondraker SLY, a new lightweight offering from Mondraker.
Yeah,
aluminium eMTB, yes.
So, we'll talk about the price. Let's get straight in there, because let's say it's more affordable for an e-mountain bike. Starting at £5,299 or $5,599 for the SLY R, and it does increase up to for the SLY RR. But I think, it's nice to see aluminium in the mix because some people choose aluminium for wet rides as well as it being down the price range as well. Yeah,
the affordable SLY is mirrors the Carbon Neat, but is obviously in terms of geometry and travel, but it's an electric package. Like you say, it's available in those two models, the R and the RR. Geo on this one, 64.5 degrees on the head tube, seat tube angle 77 and 480. There we go, on a large for the reach.
Difference to the Neat. Neat is a TQ power bike. The SLY comes with the Bosch SX motor, which is 55 Newton meters, of course.
Yeah, cool looking bike though. Really like the look of it. Okay, Neil, now on to not my favourite subject. I've made this clear. It's a bike brand car combo. I don't necessarily get this idea, but this one actually looks pretty cool. It's the Allebike Elize Polestar edition.
Well, Polestar are known for their very slick electric cars.
Yeah, and this is very
and
slick.
Expensive, I think, Polestar.
Yes.
But this bike's coming in at €8,900 because it's only available in Europe, so it's on the pricey end of things. But it is a Shimano EP8 motorbike, around 22.8 kilograms. It has Olin, so it's a fully Swedish affair.
That does look cool. The Olins does look really good on it.
IKEA meatballs in the battery compartment to complete the system.
29-inch wheels, 750 watt-hour battery, 170 front, 160mm rear.
But it's big hitting bike, actually.
22.8 kilograms though. It's quite light.
64.3 head angle, 77.5 seat tube, 480mm in the medium large size. There must be a medium stroke large size. Interesting.
Yeah, it does. I feel like it has got the look of a Polestar brand. It's very slick. The Olins does look good. But Neil, what's your thoughts on car brands making e-bikes, partnering with e-bike brands, vice versa? What do you think?
I think it's always been a bit of a stinker in the past, hasn't it? I mean, I prefer a drone stroke e-bike brand, if I'm honest. Let's see more of those.
Yeah, that's working nice. That's working nice. Controversial. Right, now let's head over to Neil, who's talking to Santa Cruz.
Thanks, guys. Yes, we're in the hills above Finale. I'm joined by Loïc from Santa Cruz. We've literally just come off the hill riding the new Vala e-bike, which was on the channel yesterday. Some bike, I have to say. Loïc, yesterday we talked about Vala, the name, and you said it was Goddess. You've done a bit of backtracking on that, haven't you?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that one because there's a lot of meaning about it. So I think everybody can just like make their own version.
I mean, the chosen one. I mean,
yeah, I think I saw something like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a bike. I think, guys, there's so much we need to talk about with the new Santa Cruz Vala bike. You know, 150, 160, 600 watt hour battery, 250 watt range extender, 27.5. The new Bosch CX Performance Line motor on there. One aspect of this bike, though, which I would like just to quickly touch on, is the fact that you seem to have moved from VPP design to 4-bar design. I mean, VPP is a system which has won you countless World Cup downhill runs and World Cup Series titles. So what's the thinking behind it?
Yeah, so VPP is a system that is very interesting because you can make it really good for downhill bike, you can make it really good for some e-bikes, for trail bikes. Every millimeter make a big difference in the way it works. But when you look at an e-bike, it's super hard to package everything around the bottom bracket because of the motor and everything. And so with the latest refinement that we did on the VPP system, you would see that all the pivot points would just get like on the way of the motor. So it would have been too much of a compromise to use a VPP with this motor and just have a suspension that we didn't really like, you know? We did some good improvement the last few years on VPP. And so to have the best suspension as possible, we just thought it would be good to use a different system. It just makes more sense.
Yeah.
And use all the knowledge that we have about VPP and use it in different suspension systems.
And I guess your knowledge as well is not, you know, it's to do with the kind of anti-squat, the anti-rise,
exactly.
you know, the leverage rates and stuff like that. I want to turn attention now to something which I think is really important for the audience, and that is people think that there's trail e-bikes and enduro e-bikes and you've got to have one or the other. I put it to you maybe that there is a sweet spot for an e-mountain bike. I mean, having ridden this bike, 150, 160, and this is to give you guys feedback, is I think there is a place for a trail e-mountain bike with, you know, maybe 29-inch wheels and a bike which is 20 kilos. But if you're going to go into difficult technical downhill terrain, and that's what I noticed whilst riding the Vala bike, is the robustness in the shock, in the linkage area and in the frame in general. The fact that the bike is around 22 kilos, I think, like I've said it many times, I think weight is actually sometimes a good thing. There's the componentry, there's the geometry, there's the... What do you think are the important parts? Well, the first question is, do you think there is a sweet spot for an e-mountain bike?
I think there is a sweet spot, and the sweet spot for us is, as you said, a bike that can do everything. You know, some people like to climb, some people like to go on big rides, some people want to send, you know, big descents. So travel of the Vala seems to be a sweet spot for us.
150, 160.
Exactly, yeah. Another really important element for us to have the sweet spot is the reliability.
The bearings, which I've already had a lecture on bearings and pivots. That's one of your traits of a Santa Cruz bike.
Like,
is reliability, right?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't want to change that because, of course, we want to have the best quality bike as possible. Something easy to maintain that doesn't require specific tools. And so, if you have a bike that is reliable, you can trust it to go on big rides, to go on pretty gnarly climbs or descent, do whatever you want. And that's the sweet spot for us. Just have a bike that can do it all and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got travel. What about wheel size?
MX wheels, so 27.5 on the back, 29 in the front.
I guess that's weighted more towards the downhill capability, right?
Yeah, and the balance, I think. With the weight, we feel like MX wheels have a better balance going downhill and uphill too.
You believe that? I'm sure. Guys, let us know what you think about uphill capability of e-mountain bike. Do you think 29 is better than 27.5? Okay, we've got weight, we've got wheels. What about battery size? Massive subject. I guess the thing with battery is, I can do, for example, if I ride a Bosch 750 watt hour battery, I can ride a bike in turbo mode, and I will get 1,600 meters of climbing and 35 kilometers. And at the end of that ride, it's a 2-hour ride, I'm absolutely spent. So, I could probably ride the bike in Eco and, and Tour Plus, and I'd be doing like a 4-hour ride. So there must have been some massive discussions at Santa Cruz about the battery capacity on the bike.
Yeah, it's always about the balance, really. You want to offer possibilities, you want to, if people want to go on big rides, of course you want them to be able to do it. But it seems like 600 is very good for most of the rides and what people want to do. And if that's not enough, you can use the power more, the range extender. So we had 250 watt of batteries, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. And what about geometry then? 64 head angle on this bike. We've got a 77 degree seat tube angle, 444 mil chainstay, 340 mil bottom bracket height. I mean, a low bottom bracket height means that bike, and as it is proven, corners like, as it's on rails. So e-bike geometry is definitely seems to have evolved to a place now around about those numbers which I just mentioned, which come with the Vala, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, same again. I feel like it's a good balance, really. It rides well going downhill. You can do some technical climbing. The bike sits really well, and you can adjust the geometry and the progression. So you can refine your experience.
Do you think? I'm going to come back to the weight, because there is an obsession in weight. Obviously, I'm getting sucked into the weight thing as well. The Vala is 22 kilos, but it is really stable down through some difficult terrain. As you might see Loïc going through some crazy rock gardens on that bike. There is a fine line, isn't there? And I'm sure there will be people out there commenting, why didn't Santa Cruz make a sub 20 kilo Vala bike? But then I guess you could have done, but then the bike would have become a little bit skittery. It might have been less robust. I mean, you might have compromised on the parts.
Yeah, that's the thing. We want to have the right parts. We want to have oversized bearing so they don't get damaged too quick. They're easy to change. We could have, different axles and stuff, but we want the bike to be reliable. And also the weight was a good learning for Santa Cruz, because when we first designed our first e-bike, of course it was our priority, because as a brand that was new to e-bikes, we're like, we need the bike that is light, that ride like a trail bike, really. But we just found that depending where the weight is, the experience is totally different. So the balance is more important than the weight. And 22 kilos is, it's light, and you might not want anything lighter, really.
Yeah, and I guess you're talking about where the weight is. That where the weight is, the suspension design. Both of those allow for a lively bike, don't they? If the weight's in the right place and the suspension dies, getting a bike which has got playfulness in the suspension can only be achieved through knowledge and experience, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like so many e-bikes feel like just the frame with the motor attached to it, but it just comes as a package. There's so many variables, so many details to deal with. So you have to deal with the motor, where the battery is, the battery capacity, the suspension, as you say, the wheel size, the geometry. So everything together make a good e-bike that hopefully, have the sweet spot.
People will buy it. So one last question, Loïc, before we get some more dessert. Why do you think people buy Santa Cruz bikes?
Well, Santa Cruz has got a strong history in mountain biking. I would hope that people notice that. I think it's really cool to work for a brand that has such a good, background in the bike world. So that's pretty exciting. And also really try to make bikes that, once again, are reliable. Like people can just buy a Santa Cruz and don't have to worry about it. That's the main thing, really.
Yeah.
We want them to, buy a bike and go on the trail and don't have to change anything. We want them to be able to work on them. We want them to not have any issues finding spare parts if they need to, and they cover by lifetime warranty and lifetime bearing replacement. So
right. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks for a fantastic few days here in
thank you.
Liguria, Loïc, and an amazing new bike. Folks, let us know your thoughts of the reasons you buy a certain brand over another. Is it reliability? Is it looks? Is it battery? Is it motor? Let us know in the comments below. And if you've not seen the Vala video, go and check out Loïc absolutely shredding it.
Competition time. Neil, would you like to win an Ergon overhaul kit for your bike? All the touch points changed, grips, seat, and some gloves?
Why not, Martyn?
Yeah,
They do a great selection of bike and, fortunately, e-mountain bike components with a SME saddle.
That saddle, I've been told, is a game changer with that
is.
little lip at the back.
Oh, it's the comfiest saddle you'll ever ride on. And they are, obviously their grips, Ergon, clues in the name, they make ergonomic components and they have a huge amount of selection of grips as well. I personally really like the GD ones, some of my favourites, but they also do some amazing, like the foamy silicone cross-country grips.
Some great stuff. It's got so much choice in it. It's like precision made and it's all made for a reason. Big fan. So if you would like to win one of our 3 bundles, then head down into the description down below. There's a link there. You'll be given a question to answer and we will keep you updated over the next 2 weeks. Who is the winner? These seats are good. I think even if I rode this seat, I'd find it comfortable. And that is saying something.
All right, let's see what cool places people have been riding their bikes this week. Starting with Clint. Eastwood or not, I'm not sure. This is in Idaho. I think he's
in the right spot.
Well, he's in West Coast guy, and Clint. I think he's around Carmel, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, Clint is on his first e-mountain bike ride, first ever ride in the picturesque mountains of central Idaho, USA. Riding with my e-buddies on my 22 Trek Rail 9.8.
Do you remember that first time you went out on e-bike? You were like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Talking about that just this very day, Martyn.
So good.
Me and Brendan Fairclough.
Oh, wow.
Got very early to try out some Scott bikes before we had to fly home at like 9 o'clock in the morning. We're so dying to ride these bikes. We got up super early and went and rode around Tuscany. And it was good. Game changer.
Hard times.
Yeah.
Next one. This is Border City eMTB. Evening mountain ride, first big mountain ride on my new YE160 in the Lake District.
Hey, I'm ashamed to admit, I've never really been, except for last week I went for a big walk around the Lake District.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And about 6 different people said to me, why haven't you got your bike? And I said, well, next time I will bring the e-bike and we'll be exploring because there's a lot of amazing epic ride, but some woods there as well I need to explore and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, the Lake District in the UK, very cool spot.
Yep.
Next one here, Neil, is from Old Tom. Yeah, up in the Ortlas, my Cube 140S up at...
Say that.
I'm not going to say that.
Driebsperspation Speeds.
He did good. That was pretty good. In the Ortla Alps, Italian-Swiss border. It's a couple of 100 metres above the Passo dello Stelvio.
Stelvio Pass, everyone knows that. That looks amazing, doesn't it? That must be.
Does look good.
That must be like 3,500 metres up there, surely.
Fantastic looking spot. Definitely cool. What's this last one, Neil?
Well, Seth Squatch is riding a Specialized Turbo Canevo in Staunton State Park, Colorado.
That rock looks prime.
Looks grippy, doesn't it?
Done it. Oh, yeah.
And the sun is out.
Some very cool places. If you've been to a cool place on your e-bike, then this is the spot in the show where you could appear. Send us a picture into the uploader and tell us all about it.
We'll get into feedback, the part of the show where we talk about what you guys and girls have been saying in comments on other videos. And if you've got any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below the show as well. What we say in mine? Starting
off with this one from eMTB today. He says, car manufacturers need to stop making e-bikes, full stop. That's bridging off my comment last week saying that I'm not a big fan of it. Don't know what you guys think out there.
We don't often see winners, do we, from these brands, so I would have to agree probably. Also, on our community tab, we asked you to weigh in about full mud guards. I mean, I've probably said my opinion on this before, where I probably wasn't invited. There were some divided opinions. Kostak2171 commented, I've never understood why mud guards are so taboo with mountain bikers. We spend so much time and money maintaining our droppers and suspension, then continuously fling dirt and mud in them. I would say I mean, I rarely have to service either of them, and living in the UK, they get really dirty all the time. I would say most of them are pretty good nowadays in shedding the mud, or the seals are so good.
Yeah, mudguards can be a game changer, but if you get it wrong, it can just destroy the look of a bike. And I think that's where the tension is. Like the front mudguard can look really great, can really make the bike look more aggressive and really cool, and it obviously does a great job. Rear mudguards. Ooh.
I think I've said it before.
Dodgy grounds.
I also actually, I quite often now, if I've got a black fork, I'll wrap electrical tape around it, because the mudguard zip ties can really, after a year or two of riding in mud, they'll wear away the paint quite nastily. So I do kind of make sure that the bike is
protected. It's a controversial subject, mudguards. Owen recently went to the Forest of Dean to see if owning an MTB means you'll miss out on uplift days. We thought this was an interesting insight from Liam 6200, and he says, I always put mine on the uplift. It's my only bike, and I use it for everything from downhill to forest road rides with the wife, plus some downhill venues like Donoghue, etc. Don't allow ride up, it's uplift only.
Yeah, and I see a lot of that, definitely. I think Donoghue is one of the bike parks where it's rarer. You go to a bike park Wales where it is uplift. You can ride your e-bike up there, to be fair. There's a suitable track, but like I say, Donoghue there isn't. But you still see a lot of e-mountain bikes on the lift there, and in the Alps, I saw hundreds going up the ski lift there when you could pedal up. So
the ski lift's a bit, I feel like there's a big difference between having an uplift vehicle and the ski lift. That ski lift's so convenient.
And where I was in leisure, you're going to burn through a battery pretty quickly riding up those mountains. So I can see and like a lot of people like Liam, where it's their only bike, you're going to use it whatever you want to do, so you might as well check out the uplift for sure.
Why not? And you get a lot done on the old uplift, a lot of chat.
And I saw a guy riding a YT decoy at Donoghue just this week, or last week even, with no battery in it. It looked unusual. So obviously using the uplift, but he just dropped the weight out. So I don't know if that is recommended. I'm not sure. Some manufacturers don't recommend that you ride the bike without a battery in it, but it was being done.
Yeah, structurally might not be right.
Yep.
We spotted this comment from Nigel Davis. He says, just wondering if you've done a program of security and trackers, having recently had his steed stolen. Oh no!
Not specifically. We have done over on EMBN Tech, obviously sister channel, we've done a couple of really good videos, I believe, on securing your bike in town and at home. I've always find trackers, it would be nice, it would be helpful, but I don't know what you do with the information. Do you know what I mean? If you know where your bike is, obviously you can tell the police where it is. I don't know if that always converts to getting the bike back, but I do know that in that DJI bike, the Amflow bike, should I say, that it's got a SIM card in it, and I can see the location of the bike and even set beepers on it, which I have found pretty useful, to be fair, to know where that bike is if I'm worried about it. And there's a lot of bikes that have alarms built into them as well, or even Garmin head units, things like that. So if someone picks your bike up, it'll notify you and it'll beep as well.
And it's tricky for you because, let's be honest, Neil, you have got a lot of bikes.
Well, they're not mine. I'm borrowing a lot of bikes.
He's got a lot of bikes.
I like to know where they are at all times.
Yeah, I actually think so.
I've never, fortunately, been in a position where I've had a bike stolen, but I think that would change everything, wouldn't it, once you've had them? Yeah. Although I do make sure mine are under lock, alarm, and they have the bike features as well at all times, so I don't try and mess around with it, to be honest.
Nigel, sorry to hear that news. Try and keep the bike safe. Let's dive into the bike vault now. First bike here is from Hein McLeod. Wicked name. Love that. Hein McLeod.
Cube stereo hybrid 140 fitted. Is that the Öhlins that come standard on those? Are they? An Öhlins 38.4 coil shock. Axis, SRAM Axis XX1 drivetrain, Axis dropper.
Nice.
That has got some fancy updates, and this is a Dragon's Back Trail, Port Elizabeth, South Africa.
Super nice. Öhlins goes a long way to spicing up your bike, doesn't it?
Well, what we're saying about Kashima, because this Specialized Levo from Jason B is decked out with Fox's fanciest kit, and I think the Stealthy Black and Kashima is hard to beat, to be fair.
I'm guessing you're saying that's a super nice.
Well, it's a Levo comp SRAM Access as well. Everyone's got it.
And Jason B.
Photo taken near Canmore, Alberta on a perfect day.
Paul Grimmer, Thor Grimmer. You say it as Thor Grimmer, And he says he's got a My Rocky M Altitude A70 in the mountains on Iceland's east coast.
Wow.
By Lake Vikurvatn.
No trails, just free ride for days. What a place for an e-bike. It's an incredible landscape right there.
Yeah, my Icelandic pronunciations have let me down seriously there. But yeah, you get a super nice, just putting up and listening to me say your name, basically.
And Adam has, I would say, in all bare world, is a great looking e-bike. They nailed it with that design. I don't know what it is about it, just the ergonomics. Is that the silhouette of it? I think it looks amazing.
I think the silhouette's always important to me, and that one is neat.
This is
neat.
it's not a neat, it's a all bare wild, Martyn, but it's Kenneth Chase,
got what I
local
meant.
to me, mate, local to Kenneth Chase, mate.
Yeah.
Taking a black rock garden.
Yeah, everyone else who's not in the UK, can you spot the subtle difference in the changing the accent there?
What are we saying? We've already given it super nice, surely.
Yeah, that's super nice. That's super nice. Well done. We'd love to see your bikes in the Bike Vault. Keep them coming. Send them into the EMBN uploader in the description down below.
Right, getting social. We've been checking out what everyone's been up to this week. Starting with Win Masters, who has been, what can we say, messing around on his e-bike. He does it quite well, doesn't he?
I tell you what, he does make it look good. He's making the most of that little spot. He's got some moves.
He's got some wheelies.
Yeah, he's a very good rider. Very good. Do you think, that guy, right, he's been doing some downhills this year and he has not been terrible.
No, that is
Been
true.
qualifying at times or close to.
He is
very good.
a very good all-round rider. Talking about another one of those, Remy Metallier is a great follow on Instagram, and he inspires me because I've always fancied going to Squamish on an e-bike. I've probably banged on about that too many times.
You know what, Neil? I would love to go to Squamish too. Why don't we go on a ride there?
Tried to organise it loads of times, Martyn.
We can do it. Surely you can make these things happen.
Well, I'd love to. And he is riding his propane thrash down some obviously very steep rock slabs that you can only find in that part of the world.
Looks great. Does look great. He's got some good stuff on his doorstep. Next up, Keelan Grant.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
I've never thought. I quite like doing that.
Yeah, it's clever.
When we do e-bike videos, we often have to shoot that bit again. So I love kicking the pedal and looping the bike out and turning it around. But I've never thought about using it to get over
Very good.
a fence. Although it's kind of risky if you don't quite get it right and you slam your hand down in the fence. But Keelan has obviously been practicing.
Yeah, it's made it look very good. Well, there you go. That's the end of the show this week. Keep your stuff coming in the uploader, and remember that Ergon competition where you could win yourself a nice little package. That would be great.
And let us know what you think about the new Bosch Performance Line CX motor as well. Opinions down below. We'd love to hear what you think. And comparing it, I guess, inevitably to the DJI motor. See what you think the numbers are, how they're stacking up, and what you think about that.